Jake is a FIFA trader who has amassed 350,000 followers online. He has helped 21,000 people build competitive FIFA teams without spending thousands on FIFA points. I'm going to talk to him about how he built a social media empire and how he used it to generate an income. So Jake, obviously your experience is in the FIFA niche here, building a FIFA trading community, right? But Absolutely. I want to relate this to as wide an audience as possible for the viewer. Let's, for a start, reference the fact that no matter who you are, if you're looking to build an audience online and sell some kind of services, whether you're a gym owner, a barber, an accountant, a musician, whatever it is, the things that we're going to talk about in this video are relevant to everybody, right? Because we're going to talk about the social media marketing, how you build a brand and community, as well as how you funnel that audience into paid services. So Jake, chat to me. Where do we start?
If you want to just start like with just general social media marketing, I mean, I think that when you talk about different industries, I think that for me, a lot of my passions lie in like fitness. That's kind of what my background in. I have a college degree in fitness. That's where my career started. And then it transferred over to FIFA and foot. And that just happened by kind of happenstance. What happened is around 8 to 9 years ago, I just started posting on Twitter. Was my first platform. I mean, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I still call it Twitter. I call it
Twitter,
weird.
man.
I don't care.
And I still call it FIFA. I'm not calling it FC either.
Yeah, what do you call it? Posting, Xing? I don't know, just posting. I like to say tweeting, but yeah, so I started posting on there, and I was just kind of looking like people do for community. And when people look at social media, they're usually just invested in their own personal hobbies. And FIFA was one of my personal hobbies. I started playing it in FIFA pretty much 11 since its inception. I got really into it like in FIFA 12. For me, I'm gonna sound old here and age myself, but that was my high school years, so that's when me and my buddies delved into it. So I was playing it a lot, and I'm like, you know, maybe people are posting about it, and I was interested in the trading component of it. I just started learning some things about it myself, and I'm like, maybe there's someone I could learn from online. So I would like to gain some knowledge and just have a community to hang out with, because I'm from the States. I'm from Minnesota. You guys probably don't know much about it. It's not like a popular or a good state to read up about, but I like it here. And soccer or football, don't criticize me, I'm from the States. Football, soccer isn't as big here. So I was just, again, looking for community, because I grew up, I played the sport, and my best friend introduced me to FIFA, and I was able to play it, but I wasn't probably enjoying it to the fullest. So I looked for that online community. I started posting, and instead of following other people and I started posting some tips, people were following me, and I was just kind of really taken aback by that. It's not something I ever expected.
So as you got started in that, it really was just, I'm posting this because A, I'm passionate about the thing I'm talking about, and yep. B, I want to find other people talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. And back then I would say, this is 2017-18 when I started posting. Just social media wasn't quite as big back then. People weren't looking to monetize it as heavily. Nowadays you sign online and you see pretty much like Stake or Roobet or whatever gambling site, or Kalshi, sponsored by every single profile that's decently big has sponsorships. And I don't see anything wrong with that, but personally, like when I got into it, that just wasn't around. I mean, you could make money on social media, but it was much more niche. It was lower income. It wasn't like people were constantly thinking about, hey, how can I make money from social media? Which I do think a lot of people now are starting their careers like that. They're kind of starting their profiles like that. They're saying, oh, I think I could make some money here, which again, I have nothing against, but that just wasn't as common back then.
It's interesting, especially like when I think about the early days of some of them communities, because this is something I've been thinking about recently, the way that like in some of these niche communities, there be exponential growth at times, but it's usually either caused by one of two things, right? Yep. Often it's like maybe one creator blows up, and then he takes kind of the scene with him, or the scene blows up and therefore everyone who's posting niche content gets a little bigger. And obviously I was about during the time that you were posting on Twitter, 2018, 2019. What's so evident about that time that I think about now is, in terms of social media growth, people really helped each other out. People collaborated. There was a lot of like touch points where your audience became someone else's audience and someone else's audience became your audience, in a way that growth happened so rapidly then, compared to say now, where people seem very isolated and people seem very reliant on algorithms for growth. It seemed more real then.
I would fully agree with that. I think a lot more was organic back then, and nowadays people before they're posting or after the fact, or they have marketers or they have teams and groups that are running pages for them. So it's all kind of ends up looking kind of similar. But back then, yeah, we had group chats, our content creators that were all large. We're like, what should we post? Should we start posting this? We were all laughing. We were all teaming up. It was really organic. And
we would speak about content every single day as well. Like
100%.
Like if you think back to some of them group chats, like I'm just speaking on behalf of like say the UK and Ireland, like some of the biggest content creators in the UK these days were in those group chats in 2018, 2019, 2020, speaking about what should I post on Twitter, what should I post on Instagram, what do you guys think of my YouTube videos?
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's going to come back around, and I think that should still be prevalent, because if you have people that you respect and get along with in the community, they should always offer suggestions and tips. And that's why, like, when you reached out to me and we've been in conversations for all these years, like, I would be happy to go on a podcast and discuss these things, because for me too, it's about, I love for people to get into businesses and things for the right reasons and right ideas. And for me, when I started posting, and what I learned very quickly is that I could make money from it, but I think that so many people now focus so heavily their platform on exclusively making money from it, where I think personally, like, what I stand by is 80% of my content should be absolutely free to consume. For me, I've focused on two things all these years, and there's two things that I really love. I love trading, and I love posting free educational content on it. Like, some of my best content ever has been threads about the game. 10,000 likes, 20,000 likes. So whatever it is, it means people are enjoying the content. The only thing I would do in terms of marketing for money for that is put a link in the bottom of the post sometimes, which I think is a great way to do it. Kind of the new modern style of that is, I see influencers write, like, comment this and I'll send you a PDF. Comment this and I'll send you a guide. Comment this in my post and I'll link it to you. It's kind of the same idea. Mine's a little bit more dated, and I honestly think it's a little bit more subtle, so I actually do prefer it that way. I think now it's becoming really apparent that's the new style. I think if you can add it in a thread or a long post or a video form, like tap it at the end, I think it's pretty low key and it works pretty great to do. But I wanted to make that whole post to help people, and whether they paid for something or not after the fact, I don't care about. I wanted the millions of people who saw the post to benefit from it, and that's always my goal.
Say if you are creating these heavy sales kind of content where it's like, right, every time I see this guy on social media, he's trying to sell me something, those guys are going to end up making less money than the guy who publicly is just out there to give you as much value as possible because he just wants to help you. As in, like, it's literally more beneficial financially to come across as that guy and to have that position on social media.
Yeah, exactly. And you see that especially in the FIFA industry. I also think you see it in the fitness industry. Again, I'm just referencing those two things because those are two of my passion, passion.
Well, it's a good touch point for us to relate the two as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been in both industries, so I see that a lot with, like, online training and stuff like that. It's like, if you're spamming every post or once a day even, like, join my group, join my trading group, pay for my fitness plan, pay for this, I'll give you a 7-day plan. It just gets a little bit overwhelming and doesn't really feel like you have a personal connection to them. It doesn't feel like they actually care about you. It doesn't feel like they are going to benefit you just to follow. So it'd be more likely that you unfollow them or just don't appreciate their content. And for me, again, I want to not only make some educational content on FIFA, but for me, I also take a huge passion and pride in just making people laugh. That's something that's super important to me, where there's people that are in the FIFA world and FIFA industry that just want to post news or post something extremely bland, like, this is today's content, and that's absolutely fine. This is tomorrow's content. This is leaked information I found. It's just more factual. There's
no brand building there in the way that you've built up a brand, right? Because, like, let's say since 2018, 2019, 2020, there has been hundreds, if not thousands, of people who have tried to post FIFA related content online, right? Yep. And very few of them have had the success that you've had. So how do you build a brand and a community to back you and follow you when everyone is posting content? How do you stand out among all these people that are just posting this generic stuff?
I just think it's about being, staying true to those values. And I think that for me, like I said, adding humor to it is really important to me. Like, I am not going to post the same thing as 10 other accounts. I don't see any value in that. I think there's better people to follow if they are looking for it. There's probably bigger accounts as well. So especially for people just getting into it, I kind of laugh because I'm like, you're going to get eaten up by the big accounts posting the same thing. But for me,
so why not be authentic? Being authentic is the edge that you have.
Exactly. And it's basically, for me, I think the humor is a lot of my most viral posts are like meme videos and jokes and adding something to make people laugh on it, because I think that provides value, that provides entertainment, and that is a value in itself. Look how many people are on YouTube every day or watching reality TV. People want to be entertained. They don't just want to read facts. They want to be entertained. And then of course I add my own personality and branding to it as well. Like, I've shown pictures of my family over the years and who I am. I'm not scared to get behind a camera or speak factually, and I think that's extremely important for brand building as well. Especially many people in my trading group, they know who I am, they can trust me, and again, I stand behind my product, so I don't have to hide behind a username or a profile.
You've got an audience and you're starting to build an audience, Jake, and obviously you've got a crazy demand for people looking for your advice when it comes to building FIFA coins, because they've seen through your accounts over the years, you're playing with all these crazy teams, you've got all these coins, your DMs are inundated, you're gaining followers like crazy. Where does the paid community come in?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question, and I don't know if you've ever heard this, so you'll probably appreciate it yourself. You know, I love telling this story because of how natural it was, and it was at a time where that was more common, and nowadays this would probably never happen this way. But so I started posting all these free tips. It was literally just on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. It was buy this card, he'll go up in price, and so many of the tips came true and were right. They were very basic, but they were functional and they worked to help people get better teams, so they loved it. And people still love that content. Like, if you're new to trading or a new profile and you can help them, they'll still love that. But what happened over time was, like, your audience gets so big that if you post to a ton of people at once, it just kind of ruins the market and inflates prices, and you can manipulate the market, and that was never an intention at all.
Yeah, and like, you can see that across various business models as well, because like, I've worked with say the Amazon FBA guys, where like they might be selling $1 million or $2 million a year worth of product, but if they let anyone know the product they're selling, then 50 or 100 sellers can jump on that product if they've got an audience, and all of a sudden, if they were selling it for $50, it's now $30 and unprofitable.
Yeah, you see that with like collectors and stuff too, toy collectors, Pokemon card collectors. If you say, I think this card's gonna go up a ton, and everyone invest in it, usually works the opposite way, right?
Yeah, well, even like, I always think, because in the FIFA thing as well, when you see is like, say during FIFA trading, it was the things that you could have caught that people really weren't expecting that did well were almost the safest moves, because if you do invest in something or you buy something that everyone knows about and everyone gets on, when people start to panic and freak out, that's what goes to the bottom fast.
Yeah, 100%. It's like over-invested, and it's like a panic sell. And crypto and stocks and meme coins and NFTs work the same, right? Those all died pretty much, but yeah, those all work the same. You didn't want to all invest in the same thing, hyperinflation.
So launching the trading group, Jake?
I was adding value that was free. Over time, we didn't want to hyperinflate prices, so someone actually reached out to me and they said, you know what, I would pay you for this. And I laughed. I'm like, okay, let me think about that, if that's something I even want to do, or could think about. I don't have any site to function for this. I don't even know what that means. Like right now, I've truly never thought of it.
You've just got a Twitter account at this point?
Just a Twitter account, just like posting for fun. Don't really care. So I found a website called Patreon. It's really big now in the community, and it was just a smaller site back then too. That's the site's actually grown itself for creators and for entrepreneurs to run their businesses through. So I made it, and I just said, you know what, we'll do $10 a month, sure, just to make it worth my time a little bit to post the stuff, and so I can commit some time to it. Like, I think that's what something really important people have to recognize, is that the more effort and time you put in, the more you have to really see an income from it. Especially for me, I have a family, I have a wife. Like, I can't just commit all my free time to something, and if people are paying for it, I can add more value into that service itself. So I started with 10 people or 20 people at $10 a month. I remember it specifically, and that sold out in like a few days, and I was like, what the heck? Like, a couple $100s, not bad. And there's someone from South Africa and someone that's still in my Discord to this day that helped me set up Discord and Patreon for me. Like, they literally, I had never used Discord. They set it up absolutely for me, absolutely free, just to help. His name was Leonard. He's from South Africa. So thankful for him. I don't know if he'll even see this, but he's pretty much started my business for me. And then from there, we were able to do 50 people, 100 people, 150 people, 200 people, 500 people. Demand so big, you gotta up your prices, and it just became into a career for me. I was managing gyms at the time, and the income ended up, especially during the COVID years where people were locked down and restrictions kept them inside and gaming blew up, the income surpassed what I was making in my career. So I'm like, okay, we gotta take the leap and go full commitment to it, full time. It just makes sense at this point.
Now, this is not so relevant to, let's say, your gym owners and barbers and stuff that are already active in business before they create the content, right? But I want to touch on the fact that, see anyone who's thinking, right, I'm going to launch this business in 6 to 12 months. And for the next 6 to 12 months, I'm going to start putting social media content out there to let people know about that. Because what you touched on there is very important, right? Because you had built up this social media community. You had already built up this brand. You were known as the guy who was very good at giving free value to people. Once you start charging for it, that brand is on the line immediately, because you have to fulfill for the people that are paying you. Because if you do all this work for 6 to 12 months or 2 years or whatever it is they build up, you start charging people money and they're like, look, the first couple of, say if those first 10, 20 people were like, look, I just paid Jake $10 and it sucked, then you're never getting to 500, 1,000 members. So how do you make sure that you're balancing how many people am I serving and am I fulfilling well for them so that they get good value out of the service?
Yeah, that's a really great question, and one that I think that has grown and changed over time. But for me, again, and I think it's actually to the component of making sure you have realistic limits in play where how much you're serving at a time is beneficial for you. Like when I started at 20 people because I wanted to be sure I could help them individually if they had questions, and because I didn't know exactly what I was doing at the time. I wasn't trying to make a full-scale business out of it. I was still under the premise kind of carried over from the free tips and tutorials and segments of how can I help these people the most. So it was really good to start slow and low because I was able to commit a lot of time to those individuals, make sure they had a great experience. And then of course, what you can ask for, which I think is extremely valuable, people are doing it really good now with businesses through like Google reviews. They're finding like barcodes and stuff like, hey, I just left your house. You know, our plumber does that. He says, I just left your house. It will take you 2 seconds to leave a review, scan this. And I'm happy to do it. If he gave me a good price and a great job, I want to support his business. And it's just the same, right? People that saw a lot of value in my service and know I individually helped them, I answered their questions, they're going to leave a review. It will take them 5 minutes tops, and it goes so far. So now we've accumulated hundreds or thousands of reviews, and that's honestly one of the main ways I market, because I still think people still are tentative about joining trading groups. They're not as familiar with it. They don't know if they can trust it.
Well, it's just paid services in general, right? As in, like, we live in a world where people are skeptical of being scammed by your internet gurus and stuff. So like, it takes a lot to buy into someone, and once people do buy into it, you almost need to like very quickly reinforce the fact that their money has been well spent. Like you almost want an immediate first impression once people spend that $20, $30, $50, whatever it is, especially for low ticket communities and stuff. They almost need to be impressed straight away.
100%. And if they don't, they'll be sure to make it known that they aren't impressed, that they expected better, and they'll be the ones that are speaking and the loudest, right? It's sometimes those negative people, the negative 1 to 10% of people that are overpowering the 90% of people who are happy. So I think committing it all to your service and scaling at a proper degree, when you can give it proper and adequate time. Like when I started the business, if I started at 100 people, I don't think it would have had the same experience, the same positive experience for all those people. The questions would have got away from me. I was still working full time at the time. I didn't have as much time to commit to FIFA and the market and to answer questions. And nowadays I do. So like some things we do that are pretty unique is like I do, especially early in the year, I don't do it all year because FIFA and FC, whatever you want to call it, that runs off a cycle where it's extremely popular for 3 to 6 months and then it starts to slowly fade, which is completely natural for video games and other industries as well. Nothing crazy about that. But I'll do weekly voice calls where I, have headphones in and I have them write in Discord or chat their questions and I answer them, and I answer every single one that's asked still to this day, and that can be hundreds of people asking questions, but they're all heard and seen, and I think that provides a ton of value to them still.
And as you said, you provide value to these people. These people leave feedback. You can post that feedback on social media, and that's how you go from 10, 20 to 50 to 100 to 500. People want to buy personal training services from the gym owner that's posting every single week. Look at my client's transformation. Look at this client's transformation. And like over the course of, if you're following that creator for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, you're like, well, 30 people have been completely changed by this guy, or
Yep.
if you're a barber and you're just constantly posting haircuts every day and
Yeah.
people are like, well, I like the haircut that this guy's
Yeah.
doing, I'm going to go to this barber. It's relevant for everybody. You need to showcase your expertise, especially
Just don't
in such
post
a
your haircut.
don't post my no. No barber is getting any views with this one. It's so competitive out there, and we know it's competitive out there, and people forget about you very quickly. You need to be constantly reminding people, this is who I am, this is what I do, and this is who I do it for.
Yeah, and there's been a massive evolution of that. So I started using that same philosophy back then, and back then it was just me promoting the service. And honestly, for many years it was. What kind of happened organically is my pages grew with my service. So I'm really fortunate as well, where I sponsor and market my own product the most out of anyone. Like, a lot of people that are running services have big promoters for them. I mean, again, that's completely natural, right? If you look at Instagram, companies are paying big accounts to market things for them. That's super normal. That happens in FIFA too, where people are
Yep.
smaller, they have a trading group, they say, hey, I'll pay you a lot of money to promote it for me because I don't have the exposure that you have. But for me, my account grew so big and so fast that I was able to be the main marketer. But for me personally, I get to show my personality I feel the most on X. It's just more long posts. It's more something I feel comfortable with. It's more organic for me than making graphics and pictures. That's not really my wheelhouse or small.
Where do you post content these days consistently?
X is definitely my main hub. And my segue with that is I was on Instagram for a while. It basically turned into TikTok 2.0 with Reels. I do think that's the best and good approach for Instagram right now. And I think short form content is absolutely amazing if you're into it. I think it's the smartest thing to be into because you get YouTube Shorts, Reels, and TikTok, kind of the three
Yeah.
heads in one.
You create one piece of content and you can put it 3 places.
Absolutely. So I'm extremely aware of that. But for me, what happened is I also got in touch with some big creators on Instagram when I knew that my exposure was getting limited there. I still post occasionally there, and I just, again, promote the group a few times a year there. But
And is that just image-based posts? That's not videos?
yeah, correct. And I know videos would do well, but for me, I'm so time restricted. I could pay someone out for that, but I'm happy with where our group is at. I'm happy with the size of my pages. I'm kind of content on a certain side of things, but I understood there was value there. So last year I got connected with Chuboy, who's one of the biggest FIFA accounts on Instagram, and we are doing affiliate marketing with him and a few other creators as well. So I think I maximized my exposure on a few platforms, and finally I was able to bring in affiliate marketing, and that was extremely helpful last year as well.
And is that something that you think you could, because I think about affiliate marketing a lot, is that something you think you could scale over time into like a web of people who were promoting your services, say for 10, 15%, whatever it is?
Yeah, so we had 8 people last year do it, and it's all reached out to me by specifically. I asked certain creators to promote it, and the reason I segued into this conversation about affiliate marketing is because I still have them primarily promote through those reviews. So it's still the same, right? It's not just them saying this guy's service is fine. It's the reviews that are in a community that is speaking for itself. So they honestly don't even have to do that much work.
So
and I mean
they just
that,
have to amplify it and get it across a different audience, their audience.
Yeah. I mean, they're getting millions of views on their posts on Instagram, and that's more their wheelhouse, and they're extremely good at it. Chuboy is one of the best creators I've seen on there. His graphics are clean, and he takes that side of it for me. And I had also done like a couple live videos with him to thousands of people, like live calls to promote it and to answer questions and get people interested in the group. So we've done a few different things for marketing that way, but it's been fun to branch out into that realm. And because I think, again, I just maximized my own viewers and retention and audience.
You're more than happy to be like, look, Twitter is my thing. I'm good at it. I've built this massive audience. I'm aware that there's a lot of money if I was creating these YouTube videos, if I was creating these TikToks or whatever. I'm not comfortable doing it. It's not for me. I would rather focus on what I do best. But how can I tap into that revenue in a way that suits me and benefits me?
I found the people that were best on the other platforms, or a couple of people on X that have a wheelhouse or a branch that I don't have, and I pay them really well. How our affiliate works, just specifically, if you wanted to know, is instead of just being paid for like an initial join, that's what happens, I would say 90% of the time. Like, you're going to sign up for a program. If it's $25, the affiliate make it $5 or $10, which is nothing wrong with that. Pretty solid too, 20 to 40%. But what I do through my site, and because we're a monthly service, is my affiliates actually get paid every single month they stay, which is actually extremely lucrative for them.
Yeah, and I want to just reinforce how important that is, right? Because like,
Yes.
first of all, for someone who is just giving their affiliates that first payment, their affiliates could be funneling tens, if not hundreds of members into a group. Those members could be staying there for 2, 3, 6 months.
Yeah.
But they're not getting any of the reward for that. So their marketing efforts go dead on month 1, and they're constantly trying to repeat that cycle. Whereas for your affiliates, they actually are going to get a massive benefit there, because first of all, they know that, right, once a member goes in there, roughly they might stay for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and they're getting that repeat payment every single month, right?
So this is where it gets really interesting and really, for me, like, I consider myself to have decent business acumen. Like, there are people that are trying this that are really young and want to make a few dollars, but for me, I just understand, I think, value, because I've
And you've been doing it a long time as well. You know, you've
been doing it a long
deep in
time,
this.
8 years. We've had a lot of success. We've had many years well over 6 figures, and there's very little overhead. I was able to say, you know what? If you get them in, I'll pay you monthly, because I believe in so much in our product, and I think that other people might be able to offer you more of a commission. So maybe mine's 30% and theirs would be 50, but I'm able to sell it because I believe it as you'll get 30% for 6 months instead of 50% from one. And that just makes sense for both parties. So like, some of our affiliates earned over $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 last year, which is crazy, because literally they're posting like very little on it. Like they're doing, I would say for them, it's just really good mutual benefit, because they are honestly don't have to do that much work. I give them a lot of the posts, and they can make it for what they want, but they're getting paid over $10,000 sometimes for a low amount of effort, in my opinion.
Jake, now I know you're going to be probably biased towards Twitter, right? But I want you to step into the shoes of someone who might be watching this thinking, right, I have a certain skill set, or I have a certain interest, or I have a certain hobby. I want to post about it now for a while, knowing that maybe I want to create a full-time income out of it at some point. Now, how would you approach social media in the modern day and age? What content should people be posting? Where should they be posting it?
Yeah, 100%. I think I kind of spoke to that or alluded to it a little bit earlier. Just because I focus on X, I'm so aware of what you should be in. Like, if I was to mentor someone and have spoken to people about this before, it's short form content. Like, you should be all over TikTok. And I think that, again, you probably know this better than I do, but to my knowledge, TikTok is probably the most, and YouTube Shorts are the most organic growing content. Like, for X, it does promote and help you to be a large account already. I think Instagram has been that way for years as well, might be slowly pushing over. But I know on TikTok, you can get virality being very small. And I know YouTube Shorts has been the same way.
Where do you see social media going over the next year or two? Like, we've sort of seen like two kind of waves of content, right? And you alluded to some of them earlier. You've got like the hyper inauthentic, scripted, I'll post what everyone else posts because it might do well content, right? And you've got the complete flip side of that, which is like, I'm just going to post whatever I want and I'm going to be myself. Now, I feel like we're starting to see maybe a switch towards like that more authentic content, whereas maybe in the last year or two, that hyper optimized stuff might have performed better, even though it was almost fake to an extent.
So short form content is where they should be. And in my opinion, where I see people having the most success and able to monetize it most heavily is really, really focus on short form content and growing their brand heavily for a year or two first. I think nowadays, if I was to personally restart it all or recommend it to somebody else, I would honestly spend a year or two doing it as a side hustle. I think that people need to understand you're not going to be full-time right away. If you love it and you truly is a passion project and you really want it, you can go get it. It doesn't matter if you can commit 10 hours a day or 2 hours a day, because eventually your passion will show through what you're making. Nowadays, I do think that a lot of people are able to monetize through 3 things. You get like TikTok viewership programs, which is very easy, and you can get money off Reels itself as well. YouTube as well, of course, if you're doing long form. But I think brand deals are huge as well. So you get that big audience over a few years, and you can start working with brands, and that can be enough to support and sustain your profiles, business accounts alone. And then finally, after all that, you're starting to sell a product. And what I think is most key and large in most industries that I think is the best route to go, especially if you're focused on racking up views or if you're a TikTok creator. Again, you also have to know your demographic. TikTok audiences for a lot of our niches tend to be a little bit younger. They don't have as much money. That's why I focus on X. I have an older audience. There are people that can commit to a monthly payment. That makes so much sense to me. I know what demographic I am selling to.
Your audience are typically people who were already spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars every single year on FIFA points. So your service saves them money.
Correct, and it absolutely does, and I feel super good about that. That's something I promote. You could make one purchase of FIFA points, and I think it's around $100 for 12k FIFA points. I barely know. I've truly never bought any, but to start the year for FC, we started a deal for a whole year with us for around $100 to $150. Last year, we had 200 plus people commit to that deal with us. So a lot of people said like, oh, I won't put that money into FIFA points. I'll commit to you're in Jake's group. They made way more coins, had a better team. It was so easy to sell that value to them, and then those guys continue year over year. Again, you give them that good product, and I haven't even started selling our yearly memberships this year. I will in the next couple weeks, but I expect so many people to be back from it because they loved it, and we have community now, and just being in it long term really helps. But if I was again doing all those short forms and accumulating a huge amount of views, which is going to be even more than X is what I'm saying, I would sell something as a one-off for cheap. I would always make a PDF. I would always have something ready to give to comments for $5, $10, $15, $20 and have it long standing. Like I see a lot of people that have success offer a group of PDF workouts or something if you're in the fitness realm, or I'm also aware and I'm kind of fascinated by the peptide space. I don't know if you're familiar with those blowing up, but I know...
Man, I'm familiar with this clavicular guy and everything.
Oh, not him! Oh no! Oh no! We don't want to hear about it from him.
I know about peptides, man.
Yes, yeah. So peptides are really big. I'm super fascinated in them. I understand them well. Like GLPs. This is long story short, but there's people
man, you
that
definitely hit your face with a hammer, don't you? Your looks.
Yeah, 100%. There's people that doctors prescribe, like, you know, Ozempic and the weight loss drugs, and they're not trained in it. That came out after their time. They don't know anything about what they're prescribing. They just have a list, really, of what they're doing. So, like, I had a client I used to personal train, and she called me. She's like, I actually was struggling for a few years. My sister went on this. I'm going on it. Like, can we talk about it? And I just told her pretty much everything I knew about it, just as a friend, long-term friend, older client. She's so sweet, always still offers our kids Christmas gifts and sent me to Vikings games, football games. So sweet. I just helped her, and she sent me like $50 because it provided so much value to her. So like whether you're, you know, trying to inform people about peptides, or whether you're trying to give them a free fitness program or a $5 thing, or if I made a basics of training, like that's what I would do. If I was on TikTok, I would probably make like a trading basics PDF and sell it for $5. Like I honestly, that's what I would do.
And again, when you're creating the content, as you said, whether it's the gym space or the FIFA space, it's something that you're passionate about, right? So as in like, if you can get that right, two things, first of all. One, it doesn't really matter how long it takes to be successful, because if you're passionate about it and you're thinking, right, eventually this might provide a full-time income, even if it's just a side hustle for a year or two, if you're constantly working towards, well, this is my dream life, this is my dream job, this is my passion, plus by default, it's probably not going to take you 3, 4, 5 years, because if it truly is your passion, once you start posting about it and once you start gaining traction and momentum on social media, you're going to dive in at the deep end, because you're going to be like, right, I've started posting up content about what I'm interested in. People have started to like it. People have started commenting on it. People started following, subscribing. People have started asking me about what I do in DMs. Like that snowball effect over the first 3, 6, 9 months where you start getting your first audience is almost like a drug in a way, because you're like, right, things are in motion now and you can really keep going with that.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely the case. And I just think that one thing you spoke to there that I think is so cool about this industry and this niche, and I don't even know if you'd want to call it a niche, basically entrepreneurship in general at that point, but you just learn so much along the way. So if you're passionate about it, you're going to make it. And sometimes making it may not even be in that same field or industry you started in. But as we both know, like I know a lot of your little group and your friends started Amazon FBA. They learned so many important skills from FIFA and foot.
Well, look, like as you said, right? Because look, we've known each other for 8 years, and for 8 years you've remained a FIFA trader, whereas I did the FIFA trading thing for a while. I went off and did the Amazon FBA thing for a while.
Yeah.
Then I went into kind of the social media management side of things, and then eventually me and Josh ended up running a YouTube agency together.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting thing you say, because longevity and just being around the space and being around people doing these online business and social media things, as you said, there's a lot of boys that me and you were mates with in the FIFA scene 7 or 8 years ago that are still in regular contact with me, because they came with me from FIFA into the Amazon space. A lot of the guys that work with me in my content agency today, Josh was my FIFA editor initially. Like, that's where he started. So like, it all kind of stemmed from there. And there's something in that, right? Because if you can just stay around the people doing things long enough, maybe let's say when you're doing FIFA, your FIFA thing might fall off a little bit, but then look, I see one of the guys I know through FIFA doing very well on Amazon, so I messaged him and being like, look, I see you making £2,000 or £3,000 a month on Amazon, teach me about this. And then maybe when my Amazon business wasn't doing too well, that's when I'm reaching out to guys doing the social media stuff and saying, look, well, I've got all these years experience doing the social media thing and being around that, but I also have the experience of the online business through Amazon, so can I make social media content surrounding business? And you can't be around those conversations or those people if you're not remaining in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important to be in the game and pivot and grow, right? Like, ever since we started in 2018, there's been so much change in not only the industry of social media, but in terms of life. Like, what I did this week is I was coding with AI a bot to integrate people into my Discord. And if you would have told me I could do that 8 years ago, I would have.
The guy who couldn't set up his own Discord?
I would have laughed in your face. I literally made a bot with Claude and Make.com to do things and added webhook and pins, and I'm like, dang, this is so cool. And that's a skill that carries over to whatever I want to do next. So in terms of my own confidence in growing my own businesses and platforms and learning, it just has grown so much. And you pivot. I know that, Owen, who we both know, went into skincare. I know that people that were really good at FIFA videos, Danny Aarons, Foot Crunch, they said, FIFA is too limiting for me. I understand the industry now. I'm going to go to football worldwide and become huge. And they both did. And I'm so proud of them. I knew them back in the day.
You mentioned Foot Crunch, as in, like, I literally, my first FIFA trading business was with Foot Crunch and a guy called Neil Guides, where Foot Crunch had the audience because he had a huge platform on Instagram. Now, nowhere near what he is today, because he's pretty much a global celebrity today, right? But he had the audience. I was the FIFA trader. Neil Guides was the gameplay expert. And like, that, how that started. You mentioned Danny Aarons. Like, the group chats that we spoke about earlier, Danny Aarons was one of the guys in 2018, 2019, speaking in those group chats about content. And like, sometimes I tell people this exact story where it's like, people see these guys then blow up and think, oh, Danny Aarons blew up overnight, or this guy blew up overnight. And it's like, no, you weren't around for the 4 years where that guy was putting content out that no one cared about.
And what was Danny doing? When he started, everyone knew him, and you'd have to be like an OG to know this. He was just funny on Twitter. He always commented on EA's post and was big in the sense of that scene. It wasn't anything like he was now. He wasn't even known, but he was a kid posting, having fun, making people laugh. How much, think of what he did. He still makes people laugh. All he did was scale it. And then he scaled it to FIFA, and it became huge. And then he scaled it outside of FIFA. He said, I love to entertain people and make creative content and make people laugh. How can I reach more people? And then he got contacts with Sidemen and everyone else he knows.
Me, Owen, Dodge, and Josh, we all went to his boxing fight.
Oh yeah, I know, that's amazing.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that guy...
I'm not going to reference that boxing fight. I know it's a little personal to you guys, but I don't know if I want to call that a professional bout.
See, when you were giving beef on social media, I was like, oh, what's this guy doing? I'm going to have to get him. Like,
I
was
totally messing around. I like to poke fun. I don't consider him like a super boxer. I don't know if I feel about the celeb boxing.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, KSI was meant to main event that, so KSI pulled out. They ended up doing a concert at it. But you have to realize, Danny Aarons went from playing FIFA in his bedroom to boxing a Premier League winner in front of 10,000 people in a sold-out 3 arena in Dublin.
Yep, I know. It's kind of ironic because it's like, not to pat ourselves on the back or even include myself into this group, but FIFA content creators have become some of the most renowned in the world, and that's not really an opinion, that's just a fact.
Well, man, like I feel like we were all part of it, and I feel like so proud of it when I see it because, like, because I actually did a tweet about this recently. It's like, and people don't realize. Sure, there's a few of our mates publicly doing mad things, like John Nellis, the football content creator, recently got on Strictly Come Dancing, which is like a public TV show in the UK, which is massive. But
cool.
Even behind the scenes, like you've got a lot of people that came through our community that work behind the scenes. Like maybe they're not like public creators or like celebrities by any means, but they're making full-time incomes working behind the scenes at big brands within the industry, which
100%.
is class.
100%, yeah, and it's just like this whole conversation and where I went to with all this is people pivot and they grow, and now, you know, I've been doing this for 8 years. It supports my family. I feel really blessed. We try to live a really unique way where we steward our money, and fortunately we didn't get caught in the lifestyle scaling. So I'm still in the same house over here that I've been in this whole time, and we can honestly, truthfully, thankfully afford much more than this. But we never moved, and, you know, our whole goal has been paying off our mortgage and being debt free. Not debt free in terms of credit card debt, but in terms of we don't want a mortgage. And this year I'm extremely like proud to say that we'll be done with our house in our 30s. Like we'll be completely debt free. We'll have nothing overhead. So for me, I feel at times I was less ambitious than some of you boys because I didn't, you know, you guys are in a position where a lot of you don't have a family and kids and could pursue things for hours a day.
I was able to take risks that you were not able to take.
Yeah, 100%. But my whole point is if we focused and steward our money in a way where if FIFA ever goes away, I don't think I would ever want to work for anyone else ever again. And I would pivot and use these skills I've gained over the years in social media and building my own business. And if I needed to start something from scratch on Shorts or Instagram and make something about our life with 4 kids, like I honestly feel I could do it. Like I have confidence in myself. I feel like I understand things extremely high level now. And not only do I feel that way because of personal experience, I feel that way because I've seen so many others in our niche do that and pivot so well, which is where I was going with that. And all those people we spoke of are beautiful examples of that, and there's so many more.
And it's like all the random things I've done over the last 8 years, as in like, I think the most important thing, right, is the people that you meet and the network you build along the way, right? Because like, as long as you like keep up with those people and keep in contact regularly enough, like you build up a network of people who are talented. You also, and like connected as well, you build up your own skill set by doing all these things, so you become more capable and more competent, either as a social media marketer or just as an entrepreneur running your business. And every year as you're doing things, you go through experiences, like say high points where you realize, right, this thing really works, let's keep pushing it, or even low points where things aren't doing so well that you're like, right, we need to change this and this because this is what led us to having this little dip. And you can only learn that through experience, and you can only learn that through doing it for enough time that you go through all these cycles.
I just think it's so fun and so cool to see so many people pivot and grow and to learn from these experiences. And again, I don't care if it's in FIFA or Foot or anything else, because if you make it in one thing, I do believe you'll just make it, period.
As you said, your passions might change, your jobs might change, your circumstances might change. But if you create content and you put yourself out there, you're in line for these opportunities when they come up. Whereas like, if you aren't putting yourself out there, you miss all the opportunities.
Absolutely, and you got to make content and contacts as well, just to support you and support your goals, and to always fall back on too, because sometimes you're gonna, like you said, have ebbs and flow. Things aren't gonna go well, things aren't gonna change. You know, for me in my industry, if Foot ever takes away the market for whatever reason, and it seems like they have done things that have hurt the market over the years, I would say, you just have to be ready and know how to make a pivot.
Right, man, I am going to end it there. Thank you so much for that conversation. And like, I just want to touch on one final thing because I wanted to get it in earlier in the video. It's the thing that I actually forgot about when I was going to say, because it was about the content styles and the content creation, where we recently pivoted, because for a long time the business content that I was creating, I was not enjoying it, right? It was the standard like content that everyone else was creating. It was like, right, how to come up with video ideas, how to come up with content strategy, how to write a business YouTube script, right? Whereas I'm not exactly sure how many videos we've created, but see, in the last 5 or 6 weeks, we have created more videos than we have in the last 6 months before that.
Oh, wow.
Because we are finally creating the content that we want to create. And like conversations like this is that kind of content where it's like, for a start, it's not me sitting by myself reading down the lens of a script and coming up with things. It's genuine conversations with entrepreneurs and social media content creators where the viewer can actually get real value from. Like, if you pick apart this conversation, there's so many little nuggets of information that no matter who you are, if you're looking to make an income out of social media in any way, you can take little pieces from that, which I think is so beneficial. And again, like, it took me so long to find that content style. So like, you can't find it without creating the content that you don't like. Like, when I look back at the content I was even creating 3 months ago, where I'm reading a script and I'm looking down the lens and I'm like, I am a shell of myself on camera compared to these videos where we can create a high level of content effortlessly to the point where we're putting out 2 YouTube videos a week, and it's better content because it's what we're passionate about.
Yeah, no, I think you said that extremely well, and it reminds me of me. And I saw Foot Crunch, and I saw the growth of Danny Aaron, and I saw how they did on YouTube, and it made me want to delve into that highly edited, fast-paced video realm, because I know what's popular for YouTube, and I know, like, in terms of what would do well, I understood what would do well, but that so wasn't me. I could not get into it. I tried for a little bit. It was very inorganic for me. And like I told you, my whole business has come organically. So when I tried something and tried to force it, it was just bad content because it didn't feel like me. It didn't feel natural. And I didn't really enjoy it. I knew what would do well. I thought I knew what would do well on YouTube, but I just couldn't do it. I focused my time on X, which I think I'm exceptionally good at. I'm good at long form content, educational content, making people laugh, adding my own personality and videos to it. That's all things I also really enjoy, and so I stay there because I'm good at it. And I have introduced creators into my network that are extremely good at Instagram, and I probably should for TikTok as well. I'm not as in that realm, but yes.